then we'll get started. All right, guys. So first of all, thank you guys for hopping on and joining us tonight. I see several familiar faces. I also see a lot of new faces. Hopefully you guys there's Britt. Hopefully you guys got the link from maybe your coach or someone that you follow on social media, or someone that maybe you've been talking to about the coaching opportunity, but you haven't dove into it fully. That is what this call tonight is going to be all about. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nikki Whiting, and I've been a coach it'll be 7 years in May, which is wild, and I'll go into my story a little bit later. But there's going to be 3 of us on tonight, and wanted to really give a little bit of a diverse group as far as what our backgrounds are. For me, I can pop on and always share my story, but I've been coaching for longer than a lot of people. Let me go ahead and mute everybody really quick. Than a lot of people, and so I wanted to bring in some people who haven't been coaching as long as me. Also, I was a teacher, and so we're going to see tonight Lynne, who is not a mom yet, and she went full-time she'll explain her background, and then Britt, who is a new mom, and she's got her own story to tell too. So you'll hear a little bit of everything. You're going to see how we got started, why we love it, just some different opinions. And then at the end, I'm going to talk you guys through the sign-up process if you feel like this is something that is calling you, that is on your heart, and you are just like ready to go. So any kind of questions that you have, we are going to try to monitor this chat inbox the entire time. So while someone else is speaking, we can try to answer your questions. Please feel free. But any questions that you have, anything that concerns you, that you're afraid of, like any kind of fears that are kind of stopping you from this is where that all gets cleared up for you. And this is where it becomes crystal clear. Either this is something I want to do, or maybe this is not for me, or it's not for me right now. So that is what we want to get answered tonight. And with that being said, I will go ahead and hand it over to Lynne.
Thank you, Nikki. Hey everybody, welcome to our call tonight. So pumped to be here with you. And like Nikki said, if you have any questions whatsoever, drop them in the chat. If you don't know where the chat is, there should be a little, the 3 asterisks that you can click and select chat and just drop them in there. And on top of that, I was a yoga instructor. And I'll get into my story here in a little bit. I was a yoga instructor. I still teach yoga every now and again, but I thrive off of the energy that you guys give us. And you all are muted, so if you all are up in the chat and say or feel anything like we're saying throughout the next 30, 40-ish minutes, just give us like a, yes, I feel you, I understand, or anything. Just, don't be nervous. Just whatever you're feeling, drop it in the chat, because we were all talking about this. It's still, even though we've shared our stories a few times, it's still sharing our stories with new people. And it's always a little nerve-wracking for all of us. So, but I think the coolest thing is that we're all here and we want to be better. And we want to see how we can make our future selves better and how we can make our now selves even better. So a little bit about me. I've been coaching, I think it's coming up on 4 years. And I was a full-time event planner, and I loved my job. Loved my job. It's what I went to school for. It's where I got my degree. I went to Florida Gulf Coast University, hospitality, all that stuff. And I loved my job. There was a point in my job though, where saying, hey, everybody's coming up in the chat. Hey guys. So it came to a point in my job where all of these events were going on the weekends, and all these events were going on at nighttime. And I had left the restaurant, and I also worked at the Ritz-Carlton prior to being an event planner full-time, because I didn't want to work nights and weekends anymore. And here I am doing events, which I loved, but it was still taking up my nights and my weekends. And that wasn't necessarily the tipping point for me. What was the tipping point? And I don't know about you guys, but it always seems like whatever we want, it never feels like it's good enough to finally take that leap to sign up or do something that we feel that's on our hearts. Well, I had a thing that basically tipped me over to make me be a coach and start looking really more forward into my future. And I went to the gynecologist, and this was something that I'd been dealing with since I was in my younger 20s, but my CIN3, and if anyone is familiar with this, my stage 0 to stage 1 cervical cancer had come back. And I was like, okay, it's time to really start thinking about this future that I have, because I can't keep calling off of work and getting treatments and doing all this other stuff while I'm also doing events. So Nikki and I had talked multiple times about coaching, just because we were hanging out with each other multiple times, and I had just never taken the leap, because when you have a good job, like, you know, and things around you seem good, like why add something else to your life, right? I think Nikki, I think I gave you the excuse that I have no time, or no, it was, if I do something, I'm going to go all in 100%. So I think I remember we were on your back porch and we were talking about it. I was like, I can't sign up unless I know that I can do this 100%. And for me, it felt like time wasn't the thing that was, it was the thing that was stopping me from signing up. Because if I'm doing something, like I said, like I'm also a soccer player. I love sports. I'm very competitive. So if I'm going to do something, it's going to be 100%, like all in. If anyone else feels me and you're in the chat, drop it below. Let us know who are the athletes are in here, because you feel me. Like if you're going to do something, you're going to do it 100%. So that's what I kept telling Nikki. I was like, I can't, like, unless I know that I'm going to be successful, I can't do it. And I don't know if I have the time to dedicate to this. So when I was getting these results back from my gynecologist, I was like, I have to make the time. I have no choice. And at that point in time too, I had already had all these visions of my future of wanting to be a stay-at-home mom, wanting to be someone that I could just be there for my family if they needed me, and to make an income and not have my significant other be the one paying all the bills. I wanted to contribute in some way. And so not only did I have that vision already, but then this happened and I was like, okay, like I'll find time. And I found time, and it was so easy to find time when I really just wanted it. And that was the coolest thing, because next thing I knew, the thing that actually brought me into this wasn't the reason that has kept me around. So that's been a whole new interesting thing. And for those of you who are like ready to go and sign up and go and do coaching, the thing that's like bringing you in here, you'll feel as you go through this, there's going to be new ways and new reasons that just keep you around. And I'll have to tell you what I didn't think was going to keep me around has started keeping me around, and it's the community. I have the best girlfriends in here, and it's those people that are on the same wavelength as you, like the same energy, like the same, like, let's help other people, let's help our families, let's help our future. And everyone's just on that same page. And it's so fun to just, everyone that you talk to is like on your same level. But it was just a matter of me making myself level up to the person I wanted to be and sign up and just do it. So the community is one of the biggest reasons that has kept me around. I signed up because I originally wanted to help people. That was why I originally signed up, and also for the ability to be a future stay-at-home mom and to work on myself. But the community has kept me around, and then the income has kept me around. It's something I did not think would be significant, because that's not what I came here for. I did not come here to help people to make money. Sure, like, you know, a little bit here and there, but I didn't sign up to make money, because like I said, I had a great job. Like the income wasn't a thing. I didn't need it. But when it was finally starting to roll in, simply because my heart was into helping people and my heart was into my own health and wellness, the income started coming in. So it was just kind of this beautiful full circle that was leading me into it. I had that little like pushover to make me sign up, you know, and the next thing I know, like 4 years later, I'm here, I'm doing this full time. I get to teach yoga whenever I want to, versus like I was doing events plus personal training and yoga instructing on the side. And I need to let you all know that you do not need to be a personal trainer or any type of yoga instructor or any type of nutritionist in order to do this job, nor do you need to be blonde. Nikki, Brittany, and I are all blonde, so let's just go ahead and squash that right now. You do not need to be blonde to do this business, and nor do you need to be a personal trainer or nutritionist. That's not what we're here for. We're here to help people with their life and sticking to their workouts, not necessarily giving them the workouts. So you'll find out as we have so many trainings and mentorships as you all come on as coaches, which has been such a beautiful blessing to me, because I thought I was going to need to be a personal trainer for people. And that is not what I needed to be. I did not need to give my time and energy or any type of physical time to people through this. And for me, it seemed like I needed to, because that athlete inside of me was like, you're going to have to work out like all the time. And you don't need to. You get to treat yourself. You get to work out, but you don't always have to be working out to help other people. So it's a little bit about my background and how I started and what keeps me around. And I work with a lot of people from, some are moms, some aren't moms. I'm not a mom. I'm for mom. And I do hope to be a mom one day. Fingers crossed, if the Lord blesses me so, and if everything from the gyno and everything is good. And everything has been good so far for 2 years. And I just have to say, it's been such a beautiful blessing since signing up to be a coach 4 years ago, spending 2 years working on myself, and things are just more healthy and happy, and life has just kind of come full circle. So it's been a very beautiful blessing. So I think I'll end it. I think I'll end it there.
That's perfect. I feel like I love listening because we hear each other's stories so often, like in the beginning, but you probably run these and like run your own and have all these trainings and you share this all the time, but I haven't heard the story in a long time. So it's nice to just like revisit it and whatever. But, moving on, because I want to try to get through all these, all of these chats as well. But I'm going to go ahead and introduce Britt so that we can stay on track as far as time goes. And so Brittany is one of my personally sponsored coaches as well, who I met on the internet, did not know her prior. So Britt, you can tell that story if you want, but I'm excited for you to hear her newest kind of update on her coaching journey and where she's at right now with turning this into a full-time job.
Hey guys, thanks for having us tonight. This just feels so crazy to me because I'm at this like full circle moment right now where I was a new coach once. Sorry, baby. I was a new coach once, and I remember sitting on my call and just dreaming one day that I could just be a full-time coach. Like that is all I ever wanted to do, because I knew what this business could do for me and for my future life as wanting to be a stay-at-home mom. So little background, like Nikki said, I found Nikki online, didn't know her before. She lives in Kentucky. I live in Ohio. Saw one of her ads about like her January like boot camp, and I was like, I'm signing up. I'm doing this. I don't care how much it is. I need this. I was just married. I was a newlywed. I had gained 15 pounds probably within a matter of like 4 months since I got married. Like, okay, I fit in the dress. Now I can eat whatever I want and I'm good. And then January came around. It was winter. It was depressing. I was overweight. I was like, okay, I need a change. Had tried ebooks online, how to build a booty. At the gym, I was doing Pinterest workouts. Nothing was working for me. I was spending 2 hours at a time at the gym, and I knew that I need to do something different. So signed up with Nikki, got my package, hated Shakeology. The first time I made it, I thought it tasted like garbage. I was like in the kitchen, so excited to make it with my husband, and I was like, okay, try it, you try it. And we tried it, and we were both like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to drink this? Until I realized I was making it all wrong. So if you need help with that, reach out to your coach. Trust me, it's amazing. I have not missed a day yet. So within a week of signing up, doing my workouts, I think I'd only got like 5 workouts in, eating clean, following the container system. I felt amazing, reached out to Nikki 5 days later and was like, okay, how do I become a coach? This is amazing. I feel amazing. And I want everybody to experience this because I know how much I struggled with fitness, health, nutrition in the past, that this was so easy to me. I'd already started seeing results in 5 days. And I was like, okay, I need to help people feel this way too. So reached out to her, signed up to be a coach. I was at that time working as a dental hygienist, and I was working 6 days a week. I had a full-time job that was 4 days a week, hygiene, 9-hour days, 30 minutes on the way there, 30 minutes on the way back, 9-hour days. I also picked up Fridays and Saturdays because at that time I was building a lake home, and I was always like a hard worker. And I knew that, like, you know, it was what life was. If you wanted to make money, you had to go to a 9 to 5, and then you had to work overtime, and that's what you had to do. And so at that time I was working 6 days a week, and barely saw my husband because he was working 14-hour days and I was gone. And then I was headed to the lake and was just crazy busy. But I knew that this business worked, and I said to myself, I'm going to hustle. I'm going to work this business because I know what it can do for me for the future. So while I was at work, at lunchtime, I plugged into my phone. I didn't even have a laptop at that time. I worked my business from my cell phone. I worked during lunch break. I worked in between patients. I was answering messages while I was in between patients. Before work, I was listening to trainings while I was in the shower. I had a 30-minute drive, so I was listening to PD. I was catching up on team trainings, the Beachbody Champion page trainings. Those are all great things that I did. And I built my business in what they call like the pockets of time. So when you are thinking like, you know, my plate is already so full, how will I have time for this? Trust me, if it's something that you want, you will make time for it because you know that that extra effort and extra hustle will pay off in the long run. So fast forward, I was working that full-time job 4 days a week. I had two extra days that I was making 6 days a week. I cut those 2 extra days off. So then I was just working my full-time job 4 days a week. So being off Friday, Saturday, Sunday was just amazing. And then when I got pregnant, I knew that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So continued to hustle, build my business, even on Fridays, you know, Saturdays, Sundays, normal time when, you know, it's the weekend and you want to relax. I knew that if I put the work in now, it would pay off. So fast forward, I just had my first baby in June, and I was able to leave my job, my full-time hygiene job, and stay home with my baby. So it's been amazing because there's literally nothing better than, and I even thought about it today when I got him up out of his nap, and I get to see him, and he's so happy, and I just get to pick him up, scoop him up, and love him and see him in the morning. And it's just the greatest feeling. So I wanted to bring back to like my hesitations at first with becoming a coach. Like Lynne said, her having like a little bit of a background as like a yoga instructor and being into the kind of fitness world a little bit that way. I was never an athlete, most uncoordinated person ever. So I had thought to myself, like, how will I be able to do this? I have no experience. And that's not something that you need with this business because everything is laid out and done for you, that all you do is help your customers and your clients and your coaches and provide them these trying to think of the word, these resources that we have. So we are providing them with that, and you don't have to be certified or trained or anything like that. You're just connecting them with these things and helping them along the way. My second point that I wanted to bring in was the community. And I think I'm going on my 4th year as a coach too. I think I had signed up right when Lynne had signed up, shortly after her. And I remember I hit Diamond my first year, and Nikki was like, oh, we're going to go on this cruise. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm very close to my family, and my family is like, you cannot go on an airplane by yourself. You're not going to go out of this country. And I'm like, no, Mom, they're my friends. Like, I met them on the internet. It's totally not weird. I talk to them every single day. And my husband was like, okay, it's fine. You can go, you know? And I go and I meet all of these girls that I've literally been chatting with for like 3-4 months before. And we met up. Nikki plugged me in a room with one of my success partners now. So if you were on the, one of my success partners now, which is Joy, and we were in a room together, and it was like the most perfect match. And now we talk all the time. And like she said, I talk to these people, these coach friends of mine, my community, my girls in my challenge group, more than I ever talk to my friends, because these are my friends now, and we have the same mindset and the same goals in life, and we cheer each other on. And it's just like this amazing community that I had no idea was out there for me. So I think that's it as far as like my story. So yeah.
Britt, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying in the comments, like one of my favorite things is to watch you with your stories every morning with him, because I just remember watching you getting up at like 4:30 and then working out and pumping in your car, and just the grind that you did to get to that point, like knowing your vision. And it makes me tear up because it's just cool that it's all kind of come to fruition for you. So I'm super proud of you for that.
Yes.
Moving on, I'm going to share just a little bit about my story and the possibilities as well. I want to talk on like part-time hobby coach versus full-time, and just some different options that you have there. And then, like I said, the sign up. So if you have questions along the way, please, we're trying to answer a couple of them, but there is no dumb questions. Like, I had a million questions when I was first signing up. I was super fearful. I said no 3 times to my coach. So say any and everything, and we can answer those for you. But I was a teacher. I taught 3rd grade, and long story short, battled anxiety and depression for a really long time, but that didn't come like completely out in the open until I got my first teaching job. And it's too much to say in one call, but basically got to the point where the environment was so bad for me that I had actually a really hard time even going to my job every day. And it got to the place where my husband physically took me to my job every single day, which is so embarrassing to say because you're like, wait, just go. But it was so hard for me to do that because of my mental state at that time. And I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to work out. Obviously, I was sleeping all the time. Crying when I got home from work, crying when I woke up, and just everyone around me was miserable too. And so it was just a bad, bad place to be in. And I honestly thought, okay, well, if I can't enjoy this, I'm just never going to have a job that I actually like. And fast forward to a few years later, I did find a teaching position that suited me much better. And I loved my students, and I loved the staff there. But I remember when I got pregnant, those same anxieties started to kick in again, thinking, okay, well, now I'm going to be dropping off my baby to go watch other people's babies, 25 others all day long, and then I'm not going to see mine for long. And that was just the way my brain was wrapping around, it was just the anxiety coming back in about like, well, how can I make this work where I can see my own child more? And so after a long conversation with my husband, we decided that the best thing to do was to forfeit the income at the time, go down to a single family income and just make it work. And we did that. We lived within our means, and we, sacrificed a lot of things, but it was more important for my health to be home and to know that I was like with my baby. So with that being said, about 5 months postpartum, I started substitute teaching to try to bring in some extra income, which you guys all know, and there's probably several teachers on this call that teachers are so underpaid and overworked, and you guys are a blessing for all that you do. But it just didn't make sense for me financially to be leaving and then pumping while I was there, and just all those things. So in that amount of time, someone had reached out to me on social media and was like, why don't you get into this little group? All these women are working out at home, and we're getting results and learning how to eat clean. And so I had no idea what Beachbody was or what any of these what any of these workouts were. I didn't know that Insanity was tied to Beachbody, but I had it sitting on my shelf. And I ended up getting in this group and lost like 7 pounds in the first, 6 weeks or something. And I was hooked. I was like, wow, I feel so much better. I have more energy. I'm like learning healthier recipes and just all this stuff. So my coach, like I mentioned, asked me to coach 3 times. And I said no all 3 times, 100% out of fear. I was so fearful. So if you're someone on this call and you're like, I would love to do that, but I'm scared, I promise you, I was so nervous. I did not want other people to see me fail. I didn't want to put myself out there and nobody care. There was just so many things going through my head that was like, I'll just remain a customer. And so finally, my coach brought up the opportunity for me to get 25% off all of the products. And that was enough for me to sit down and have a conversation with my husband and say, okay, I would like to get Shakeology at a discount. That was not in our budget at the time. Like, let's do that. And my husband looked at me and he was like, that's fine, but you've seen other people succeed in this business. Why don't you just like go all in? Why don't you give it your all? Like, you're at home, So I did. And like they were saying, I did this in pockets of time. I did it in the morning while we were having breakfast. I did it at nap time. I did it after the baby went to bed, and all those different kind of pockets when the baby was not there. And I started to grow my income. And about 6 months in, I started to get some paychecks that were equaling my teacher pay. And I thought, well, that is awesome. And my husband started to see it, and he started to take it very seriously. And he was like, okay, this is legit. Like, what are we going to do with this? And we went on our first trip with Beachbody, and it was a cruise. And I remember there was nobody from my team there. It was just me and him. And I was like, I want all of my team coming on these all the time. This is so fun. And when we got off the boat, my husband was so hype on Beachbody. He was like, I want to be a coach. This is so much fun. And it's true. The community, the vibe, the energy is so contagious. And he, at first might have been a little on the fence about MLMs, but I know that he's 100% my biggest supporter now. And so about a year into coaching, we really started to see the income grow, and it's continued to take off. And our team had our best year last year, 6 years in this business. I remember my first month into coaching, I was like, well, I don't know how long this could actually last, but let's see. And the truth is that this is something that's so sustainable because people are always going to need health and fitness. Wellness is always going to be a priority. It's always going to be something that people are going to, need and look to for advice and help and whatever. So for me, this was the right move. And it also was another layer of accountability, to be honest, because I was not someone that consistently worked out all the time. I was not a certified anything, but we had certified nutritionists and we have certified trainers who do all the work for us and create these incredible programs, and we have no overhead. And so for me to have those options, but not have to be the pro, was perfect. And I could be the coach. And at the same time, I could show up and I could show myself, I could show up and be accountable to myself on so many other levels because people were now watching what I was doing. So I was being, more strict probably than I would have been with my, getting my workouts in and eating clean and all of those things, which was what I needed. So all of that has led to where we are now. We have several coaches on our team who love their jobs and they just want the side income. They want to create a savings for their kids, or they want to take their families on vacation and not have to worry about that and be able to provide that. It definitely for me started with the small things, contributing in ways like paying for gas and utilities. And I worked my way up to a goal of let's pay our monthly mortgage. That's what I want to be able to do. I want to create, all these different outlets, and those things have come to fruition because of the vision that I've had for this incredible opportunity. And so all of these things are at your fingertips. There's so many possibilities with this, but not everyone wants it full time, and that's okay. If you want the 6-7 figure business, hustle for that, make that your vision. But if it for you, it is just some extra side income to not feel guilty when you want to splurge shopping or whatever, that's okay too. Or have that extra accountability, or maybe you love that community aspect, because for me, I was really talking to my kids more than I was adults and just needed that interaction. And so it was really nice to have women empowering other women in a place where I wasn't getting that all the time. So that was huge. So if you guys have had, this kind of calling or a tugging at your heart, what I will tell you is that there is honestly nothing to be afraid of. There's really no way to fail. If you have thought about coaching at all, the only investment is the investment of the products. You would pay the exact same amount a customer pays when they buy their products when you signed up to coach. Your coach fee is completely waived. You have the nutrition, the fitness programs, everything at your fingertips to start sharing. And then from there, like we talked about recently in this thread, is $16 a month coach fee. You can cancel at any time. There's no cancellation fee. No one is going to hate you for it. If you figure out that's just not something that's for you, or you want to take a back seat to it for a while, that's all on your terms. Like, this is your business. If you want to walk, we will walk with you. If you want to run, we're going to show you how to take off. The cool thing, and I will say, I do feel like being on a great team makes a difference. There are a lot of people out there who sign up just to sign up and don't realize the importance of having a strong upline and a team that's there to support you. And so they feel alone. And we never want someone to feel like that. So you are going to have more tools than you could ever imagine with our team. I can promise you that. We have trainings, we have calls like this that you can invite people to. We have team pages. We have so many like PDFs and tools and everything that you could need. So if you are afraid, like, I don't know the next steps, you will have those literally written for you, a checklist, like new coach to do. So don't feel like, you would be stuck alone or whatever. Any other questions as far as sign up goes? I know for me, the biggest thing was I was just afraid of failing. And once I realized that the worst that could happen is that I get in the best shape of my life, I was all in. So I went all in, loved it. And here we are 6 years later, almost 7, I guess, which is crazy. So if you guys have felt like this is it, you're ready to try it, you're ready to go, this is the perfect time. We have a new program coming out in April. We have a sneak peek coming in March. There is 2 new programs out right now. We have new flavors of supplements coming out, a lot of things in the works. So this is a really good time to dive into the business, learn about it, and be able to share with people. If you are not sure what the next step is, okay, I want to sign up, please reach out to the person who brought you on this call, message them and say, I'm ready to go. I was on the call tonight. What package is going to suit me the best? Most of the packages, honestly, are around $150. So that gives you a year of Beachbody on demand, nutrition guide, shaker cup, all of our recipes and our blog, unlocked, over 6,000 workouts, obviously access to all of the groups forever. Shakeology pumpkin spice box is actually free right now with your purchase, and another bag of Shakeology of your choice, or you can do the performance line, which we have an all-natural pre-workout and post-workout. So all of those things can be chatted with in detail with your person. So if you are ready, I would suggest reaching out to them and get rolling. And I'm super, super excited to see who we have join us this week after being on the call. So any other questions before we hop off here?